Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Marani ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Anitai ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrindi ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we are taking a slight detour from our usual class of Sri Brihadbhagavatamrita. We are going to discuss on Vedic Cosmology. It's just an overview on the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We did a seminar on this during COVID. It was a 5-part seminar. There's a lot of information. I've just to put an overview together, just to give us an idea. We'll be revisiting on Vedic Cosmology again when we cover part 2 of brihadbhagavatamrita. So today, part 1, what we are going to discuss is about what is happening within the universe, the structure of the universe per se. And in part 2, it's echoing. And in part 2, we would be traversing following the trail of Gopakumar as he goes to different parts of the universe, both within and outside, beyond universe. We'll also be having a discussion on that. I just want to take this opportunity to thank His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu. When I started, when I actually joined the temple, 2012, at that time we were discussing 5th canto of srimadbhagavatam in our temple here. I spent many sleepless nights trying to understand, and the more you try to understand, more confusing it gets. And later on, when I got introduced to Bhagavat Subodhini, it was very to understand. Pavaneshwar Prabhu, later he released a book called Bhagavata Cosmology. If you like, you can get a copy of that. Bhagavata Cosmology. There is also a YouTube channel that's run, so you can watch his videos as well. Most of what we'll be discussing today is actually based on whatever I've heard from him. His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu. So you can watch his videos. He gives a lot more information. He has put a lot of effort to present this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam in a more illustrative way, easy to understandable way. And in order to appreciate the value of that, first try reading only the Bhagavatam verses without looking at the reference material. You will understand how difficult it is to even visualize, and we'll understand we simply can't understand. That's the conclusion you will come to. So he has put a lot of effort, and we can't, many of these images may be even copyrighted, so that's one reason why we won't be circulating. So that's Rati Mataji. So whatever that is freely available online, I've already shared. If you're part of the Google group, you would have already received the images which I sent yesterday. If you haven't, you can register, sending text to the number that's given in the poster. So without further ado, we'll discuss more on Vedic cosmology. I have about 36 slides, and we have about an hour, and then maybe 15 minutes for questions. So that's the plan for today. I'll quickly skim through. I'll stop at sections wherever it's relevant. Part of today's discussion also, I just want us to understand tracing the path which Narada Muni has already taken. If you recollect, he started from Prayag, went to South India, then to Indraloka, from there to Satyaloka, from there he went to Shivaloka. So in the first few slides, you will actually understand it very clearly about the path he is taking. Okay, we'll get started. Is the setup done? We can leave it at that. So how much ever that's visible, you can switch off the light, at least the one in the middle. Yeah. So if you have a look here, we'll have a detailed image soon, but for now just understand, because this will give an overview of the path which, okay, if I move away from this point, online viewers can't see me. Okay, so if you look here, so there is this one universe that is in this slide, you can see, and then overall you see Mahavishnu there lying on causal ocean. Above that you see Brahmajyoti, above that Shivaloka, then you see Vaikuntha, and then you have Goloka Vrindavan. So this is, and then below you see Anantasesh, and then even below you will see. There are more details that are given. We won't actually go too much into that. So if you look at the path that's traversed by Narada Muni so far, he started somewhere. So that is our planet Earth. I'll come to the details of that. First, let's try to understand the relevance of today's presentation to what we have been discussing in brihadbhagavatamrita. So if you see in this slide, there is the planet Earth, and in this planet Earth, in North India, Prayag, Narada Muni started his journey. From there he went to south, and the South Indian king asked him to go to Swargaloka. From there he came there. From Swargaloka, Indra tells him to go glorifying about Lord Brahma, then he goes to Satyaloka there. Then from Satyaloka, when Brahma glorifies about Lord Shiva, Narada Muni was about to go down again to planet Earth to go to Himalayas there. At that time, Lord Brahma tells him, Don't go there. What you see here is just the residence of Kuvera. If you want to see Lord Shiva in his full glory, then you need to go to Shivaloka. So if you see from there, that's the earth. Instead of Satyaloka from there to there, he goes from there all the way there. Okay, so the discussion we have been seeing for last 2 weeks, where Lord Shiva is, where Narada Muni is actually glorifying Lord Shiva along with Mother Parvati, it's happening there. That is Shivaloka. That's the spiritual world. So you see here, this is one universe. There is this Karna Sagar. Then you have Brahmajyoti. Beyond Brahmajyoti, spiritual world starts. In fact, from Brahmajyoti onwards, it's actually spiritual completely. Okay, so Narada Muni is right there now. So from North India, South India, Swargaloka, Satyaloka, from there he has come to Shivaloka there. So Shivaloka, Lord Shiva, first he glorified residents of Vaikunta, which is right up. Including then we saw Mother Parvati glorifying about Mahalakshmi. Again she is there. So Narada Muni, when he is about to go there, Shiva stops him and tells him, same Lord Krishna, the Supreme Swayam Bhagavan, he is actually right now in Dwaraka, in planet Earth, where you can see him. But Narada Muni, while he is about to actually leave, again Lord Shiva puts his arm around his shoulder and then whispering on his ears about the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. So he tells him, there is somebody who is even greater in devotion than even Mahalakshmi, and that is Prahlad Maharaj. So what you do, you go and meet Prahlad Maharaj. But where is Prahlad Maharaj staying? Prahlad Maharaj, so this is Buloka, Prahlad Maharaj is there in Sutala planet. So from there, Narada Muni is going to go below earth to Sutala planet. Below the earth, we have Atala, Vitala, Sutala. So he's going to go there. Then when he goes to Prahlad Maharaj to Sutala planet, from there, Prahlad Maharaj would then direct him to go to see Hanuman. Hanuman is staying in the Bhu-mandala. We'll come to that. So today, most part of our discussion is going to be on Bhu-mandala. That's based on 5th canto. 5th canto talks about Bhu-mandala. So we are going to discuss there. So this is the trail of the journey of Narada Muni from North India to South India, from here to Swargaloka, from there to Satyaloka, Satyaloka to Shivaloka, Shivaloka all the way to Sutala. Sutala he is going to come to the Bhuloka. Not really Bhuloka, Bhu-mandala actually. So that plane, the whole thing is called Bhu-mandala. So today we'll spend a good part of today's session trying to refresh our memory about Bhu-mandala, what we discussed. I was looking at the date, I think we discussed in June 2020, peak of COVID, 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago. So we are going to discuss there. So in Bhu-mandala he would first see Hanuman. Hanuman would then direct Narada Muni to go and meet Pandavas in Hastinapur. From Hastinapur he'll then go to Dwaraka to meet the Yadus. Yadus would say, no, Uddhava is the greatest. Then he would go to see Uddhava. And then Uddhava would say, not me, it's only the gopis. And then the pastime will finish in Dwaraka. So after he comes to Bhu-mandala to meet Hanuman, from there he goes to Hastinapur, and from Hastinapur he goes to Dwaraka. And Dwaraka, different personalities will point at different person. I'm not great, he is great, he is great, he is great. And the whole part 1 will finish in Dwaraka, concluding. But Narada Muni won't stop in Dwaraka. Where did he start? Prayag. So from Dwaraka, Narada Muni will come all the way to Prayag to actually tell those, the Brahmanas, remember in Magh Mas they took bath in cold water, all of them. So he'll finish the whole circle. He'll come back to the same point and he'll tell them, by the way, this is my journey and gopis are the topmost. And brihadbhagavatamrita part 1 will conclude with Brahmanas. After they hear about all the glories of these different devotees, they stop all their other processes and they take to full-time chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They all take up to pure devotional service. So that's how part 1 finishes. And we are almost 40% into part 1. So that's where we have been going. Now we'll go to a bit more detail. As I said, I just want to take this opportunity to do a quick recap, especially of this section. Now, before we get started with this, one question we may always have is, what's the use of studying, cosmology? Prabhupada, he writes in 5th canto, Parikshit Maharaj, this is in 5th canto, Parikshit Maharaj might have heard about this like, second day, third day. So there is still only another 3-4 days left for Parishit Maharaj. Prabhupada says, what's the use for Parishit Maharaj asking about the geographical details? There Parishit Maharaj, if you read the section, 5th canto, 16th chapter, 3rd verse, if I'm not wrong, there he says, the Falastuti, normally when you hear about any section, any particular Leela of a devotee, you will come across Falastuti only at the end, after all the pastimes finishes. And then it would say, whoever reads this pastime with full attention, and that's when you will think, I didn't read with full attention. They will become victorious and they will become pure devotees. Then what you do? You go back again to the beginning and start reading it, correct? That's what happens. Parishit Maharaj knew about our psychology very well. Given the details that Shukadeva Goswami is about to divulge, Parishit Maharaj says the Falastuti in the beginning itself. One of the rare sections where you will see Parishit Maharaj is saying like, all right guys, if you are sleeping so far, it's okay, at least wake up now. He says, whoever meditates on these geographical details, he says 2 things. First is, your mind will come to Sattva Guna. He says clearly. He says, whoever meditates on this particular manifestation of the Supreme Lord, first effect is, your mind will not be passionate, your mind will not be lethargic, lazy also. Because if you are lazy, you won't be attending the class today, correct? So, he says, whoever hears these details, first benefit is, mind will come to the platform of goodness. And he says, naturally when mind comes to platform of goodness, at that point, mind will naturally run towards meditating on Vasudeva who is in pure goodness. So we should not take it as like, sometimes there is the school of thought, I'm not a scholarly devotee, nobody is a scholarly devotee. Okay, I'm not a very literate person, doesn't matter. Only Krishna knows what is life has got in store for us. Everyone is illiterate, correct? Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow, this afternoon? How can we call ourselves literate? Nobody is illiterate here, everyone is illiterate only. Only Krishna knows. But this particular section of 5th canto of Vedic Cosmology, especially from 16 onwards, Parishit Maharaj, at the beginning itself, he says to Shukadeva Goswami, kindly narrate all these geographical details. So, when whoever hears this, their mind will naturally come to the mode of goodness. And if you think about it, the more you meditate on this, you will actually feel very rejuvenated. Okay, you can't be very lazy. If you are lazy, you will be sleeping in this class. I can tell you, there is only 2 types of students in this class. So you have to be alert. Naturally, it says, Parishit Maharaj says, whoever hears this, mind will go to a platform of mode of goodness. From there, their mind will rush towards meditating on Supreme Lordship, Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai, in pure goodness, he says. Okay, so it's very important. It's not just some devotees who are scholarly, it's their interest they have to do. The other part is also, if we give attention to all these details that's given in 5th canto, you can relish your visit when you go to Temple of Vedic Planetarium, when it opens. Okay, so it's very, very important. Otherwise, you will see, yes, it looks big. That's all we can see. But if you understand all these details, again, repetition is the mother of learning. If you see this and you get confused, well done, you are on the right path. Reason why I am saying is, even Shukadeva Goswami says, when Parishit Maharaj asked this question, Shukadeva Goswami says, look, even I don't know the details fully, only the Supreme Lord knows. Nobody knows it fully. Even Lord Brahma doesn't know, he says. Brahma knows inside this universe. What is happening beyond, even Brahma doesn't know, he says. But he says only Supreme Lord knows all the details, but I will share with you whatever that I know. Same way from our side, we can try to understand as much as we can in this class. And then we go back, get confused, and then come back again. Next time, bit more attentively. And then we'll hear, naturally we'll come to a stage wherein like, okay, I'm decent, at least nobody will confuse me now. If we can come to that level of understanding, that is good enough. Okay, so please take it seriously, each one of these different information that's given. So we'll start with this slide, wherein just one universe is actually zoomed in. I'll start from the outer layer. If you see, there are 8 different layers that are given. We will discuss that when we come to second part, because Gopakumari goes through each one of them and it says what is happening in each one of those. So it's not just an empty space. To give you an idea, the diameter of this universe is 4 billion miles. The thickness of each one of this layer, first layer thickness is 8 billion miles. Coverage of the universe, 8 billion miles. The one after, water, coverage of that is 80 billion miles. Thickness. The one after that, earth, water, fire, 800 billion. It just keeps getting multiplied 10 times more like that. Okay, so it's not just like a tiny little, if you look at an egg, you may see like a tiny little cover shell. It's not like that. Thickness of that is much more bigger than what you see inside the universe. In fact, the coverage is so much more thicker. Okay, there is life there, there is Supreme Lord being worshipped there, along with this consort is actually leading, and there are people living in each one of them. When Prabhupada says Sarva Gataha in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is what Sarva Gataha means. Sarva Gataha means Prabhupada goes on morning walk once and he looks at a crack and he just looks at the crack and he sees ants coming out. Prabhupada says, look at this crack. Even in this tiny crack, there are so many living entities. How can modern scientists actually say there is no life in other planets? See, Krishna is so efficient, even in the crack he is creating. Understand? So, everywhere there is life. So, that you will discuss when we come to second part. But for now, understand this structure. This is Bhu-mandala, which is the 7th planetary system. Bhu-mandala is not just Bhu-loka. Bhu-loka is only one planet. Bhu-mandala is, there are a lot of planets in that one single plane. So, this is Bhu-mandala. Likewise, Bhu-loka, Bhuvarloka, one above us. That plane of planets. Swargaloka, again, that plane of planets. Third, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, Satya. Dhruva planet is above Swargaloka. So we have Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka. Above Swargaloka is Dhruva planet. And then above Dhruva planet, you have all the other 4. We'll see that later today. Likewise, below Bhuloka, you see Hatala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Who's living where? We'll come to that later today. Okay, so this is the 14th planetary system. We are in Martiloka, middle planetary system. Above us, there is 6. Below us, there is 7. Okay, so Sutala planet is somewhere there. And Garbhodaka ocean is, this is one universe. Garbhodaka ocean, the diameter of this universe is 4 billion miles. Garbhodaka ocean is filling this universe to half level, which is the depth of Garbhodaka ocean is 2 billion miles only. Just thinking about it, we will faint. It's scary. It scared even Lord Brahma when he looked at the ocean. So Garbhodaka ocean depth is 2 billion miles. So this is some information you can see here. Srimadbhagavatam 5th canto, chapter 1 to 15, it discusses about Priyavrata Maharaj and his descendants. Priyavrata, he is the son of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu has 5 children. Priyavrata, which is what we are seeing here, 1 to 15, it discusses about descendants of Priyavrata. Other son is Uttanapada, he is the eldest. Uttanapada is Dhruva Maharaj's father. So Uttanapada, Priyavrata, then Akuti, Prashuti and Devahuti. Mata ki Jai, Kapila Dev's mother, we are reading now. So she is also one of the child or one of the daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. So Priyavrata is one of the sons of Swayambhuva Manu. So 5th canto, this is the breakdown. Chapter 1 to 15 discusses about Priyavrata and his descendants. Very interesting section you can read. 16 to 20, he discusses about breadth of the universe. In other words, breadth here refers to primarily these. In other words, 16 to 20 discusses about Bhu-mandala. 21 to 26 discusses about the height of the universe, which means it discusses about this information. Does that make sense? It talks about planetary movements, it talks about sun movement, it talks about each of the 27 nakshatras, all of the Rashi, all those information, the movement of the planets and everything, they are discussed in 21 to 26. 16 to 20 discusses about Bhu-mandala. And 1 to 15 in 5th canto discusses about Priyavrata Maharaj and his descendants. Just to understand about position of Priyavrata Maharaj, he is son of Swayambhuva Manu. He ruled this entire Bhu-mandala, not just planet Earth. Entire Bhu-mandala, he was the single ruler. How long did he rule for? 1.1 billion years. That's how long he lived. He lived for more actually, but that's how long he ruled Bhu-mandala for 1.1 billion years. No ordinary personality. Now these are the descendants, some of sons of Priyavrata, some of them may be of interest, so I just put it here. Priyavrata had 2 wives, one is Barismati, she is the daughter of Prajapati Vishwakarma, and he married a second wife, name is not given in Bhagavatam, and Through Bahismati, he begot 10 sons. 7 sons were Kshatriyas, 3 sons were sannyasis, Paramahamsa ashram. Kavi, Mahavira and Savana, they were brahmacharis and they entered into Paramahamsa ashram. Paramahamsa ashram means they become sannyasis. These 7 sons, Agnidra, Idmajiva, Yagyabahu, Hiranyaretara, Gritaprusta, Medatiti, Vitihotra, they are all different names actually of Agnidev. So he names them after that, after the fire god. So for each one of them, he divided this entire Bhu-mandala into 7 different islands. We'll come to that later. It's called Saptadvipa. Just like how a father would divide his property to his sons, similarly, because Priyavrata was ruling the entire Bhu-mandala, he divided that into 7 different islands. Using his chariot, he demarcated. Okay, and then after demarcating, he gave each one of those islands to each one of his sons. So each one of those 7 islands, they are called Dvipa or Sapta Dvipa. Sapta means 7. Not Bhuloka. So if you take Bhu-mandala, okay, if you take it like that, Sumeru mountain is here. We'll come to that shortly. What Priyavrata did was, using his chariot, he circled around this and he demarcated this into 7 different islands like that. And he gave each one of these islands. Now you can say it's just a circle here. No, actually after every concentric circle, you'll see a particular ocean there. We'll see the illustration soon. So each one of them, they are separated by an ocean. So there is Sharodaka, Ikshu, Rashodaka, Sharodaka, Ikshu, Rashodaka, Shurodaka, Gritodaka, Shirodaka, Dadi, Mandodaka, Shurodaka. 7 different types of oceans that are there. There's like, first is like salt water, Sharodaka, Ikshu, Rashodaka, sugarcane juice, Shurodaka, liquor, Gritodaka, clarified butter, then Shirodaka, milk, then Dadi, Mandodaka, yogurt, and then Shuddhodaka, clean drinking water. 7 different oceans. And each one of these different islands, they are called Dvipa or Saptadvipa. 7 islands. Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmalidvipa, Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Shakadvipa and Pushkaradvipa. 7 different islands. And each one of those islands, they are separated by oceans, again made of different materials. We'll see the illustrations shortly. So that's what Priyavrata Maharaj did. Now each one of those 7 different islands, he gave it to each one of his 7 sons, starting from Agnidra till Vitihotra. Now what do? Each one of them, they took rulership of those islands and they in turn divided them into varshas. Why did they divide into varshas? Because they had those many sons under them. So they divided, just like how the son would inherit a property which is already divided from the father, and he would in turn divide it into different parts to give it to the grandson. That's exactly what happened here. Originally there was one single ruler, Priyavrata, ruling entire Bhu-mandala. He had 7 sons, so he divided it into 7 different parts. And then he gave to each one, and then each one they divided it according to how many sons they had. Okay, so the one, Agnidra, he was given the one, central one, the first one, Jambudvipa. That's of interest to us because we live in Jambudvipa. Okay, so that's what we are going to focus on. You understand, from macro level, it's coming down. So today, in another 45 minutes, we are going to quickly skim through. Okay, from this level, we are going to go to Bhu-mandala and then we are going to go focusing on coming to Bharatavarsha all the way. And you will understand the context. Because there are so many details that are there, if there is something that's totally going over your head, stop me then and there. Already.
This one is on the
horizontal plane, correct. So this is on the horizontal plane. Okay. So 7 sons and 3 sons, and then through Barhismati, Priyavrata also begot a daughter, Urjaswati, who is married to Sukracharya. Devyani is their daughter. Okay, so Priyavrata is father-in-law of Sukracharya. And through second wife, he begot 3 sons, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata. Swayambhuva Manu, Swarochisa Manu, Uttama Manu, Tamasa Manu, Raivata Manu. Priyavrata's father is one Manu, Priyavrata's 3 sons are 3 different Manus. It's a Manu family. Okay, so Priyavrata's father is Swayambhuva Manu. Priyavrata through second wife, he had 3rd, 4th and 5th Manu. Swayambhava Manu, Swarochisa Manu, then Uttama Manu, Tamasa Manu, Raivata Manu. They are those three. Okay, so this is his family. Okay, now Bhu-mandala. So this one, it's a full universe, same as what we saw a few slides before. So this is full universe. Half of this universe is filled with water. That's Garbhodaka ocean. In that only we have Garbhodakashai Vishnu lying down. And from his navel sprouts the lotus. 14 planetary systems are along the stem of that lotus. And we have the 7th planetary system here, which is the Bhu-mandala. In that you see this tiny planet Earth, which is in Jambudvipa. It's in middle. Okay, it will make more sense when we look at the subsequent slides. This is again, the way how we are going is from a micro level we are trying to drill down to understand. But most important thing when we go through these slides or when you study these topics, when you understand something, always connect it to the bigger picture. In what context I am in. If you are thinking about, let's say, Bharata Varsha, okay, this is in Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is one of the 7 islands. You need to be clear. But if you go to Bharata Varsha thinking, is this India? You are confused already. So when we read, you read always in connection with the context. If you are confused already, don't worry. You are on the right track, as I said. But as you learn one new information, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Try to see where it fits. Okay, at least theoretically try to understand. Then you won't lose the context. Okay, so this is Bhu-mandala. This is total planetary system or total universe. In that, this 7th one is called Bhu-mandala. Okay, Bhu-loka means only one world. Mandala means there is like so many more in the same plane. Does that make sense? So each one of these planetary system, that's why we call them planetary system. It's not a planet. It's not just one. There are many in each one. Likewise, if you go to even Swargaloka, it's not just one. We ourselves come across, earth, water, not earth, water, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, we come across all of that. Okay, so there are multiple planets we already know, even based on our modern education. So it's not one single planet. Okay, it's already coming to 8. Pluto is no longer a planet apparently. Okay, so this is how so we are not talking one planet here. Okay, we are talking one plane of planetary system. Okay, so this is Bhu-mandala, this one. Now, again, this is also Bhu-mandala, but you understand it if you take the universe and you cut it vertically. Okay, like a longitudinal section. You just cut it. This is how it will look. Garbhodaka ocean is there below. And then you have Bhu-mandala here. In the center of Bhu-mandala is Jambudvipa, the first island. In the center of that is the Sumeru mountain, golden mountain, like it looks like a carrot, that one. So this is Bhu-mandala. Pole star is there. Above pole star are the 4 planetary systems. Maharjanas, Tapas, Satya. Okay, so this is Brahmanda. Anda means egg. It looks like an egg, this universe. Okay. Again, it's the same Bhu-mandala, but said in a different context. So here you can actually see in the center, you have the first island, which is Jambudvipa, surrounded by, you see that bluish ring. So that's the saltwater ocean. There is again another tract of land is called Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, surrounded by sugarcane. And then likewise, Shalmali Dvipa, surrounded by liquor. That brown ring is liquor. Like that, you come across each one. Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa. I'll lose the names if I lose the order. Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmali Dvipa, Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa. Then we have Shakadvipa and Pushkaradvipa. So 7 concentric rings, and each one of them, they are in turn surrounded by water. Now, because in the center there is Jambudvipa surrounded by water, that's why it's called a Dvipa, an island. Understand? Likewise, you take the next tract of land, it is surrounded by one type of ocean in the front and another type of ocean at the back. Again, this is an island. Even though it looks like a circular ring, it's an island. Does that make sense? Likewise, each one of them. And there are 7 of them, that's why it's called Sapta Dvipa. Okay, so same thing here also you can see the context of that. This is again the 7th planetary system in its entirety, and you see the concentric rings here. Bhu-mandala is this entire plane.
And sorry, Brahmananda is what is it?
Which one?
What is Brahmananda?
It's like Brahmanda, not Brahmananda. Brahmananda means happiness that comes with the understanding that we are not the body, we are the soul. Brahmanda means universe. Universe is Brahmanda.
So, Prabhu, is there any significance why it is about different types of oceans? Is there any significance?
Variety is the mother of enjoyment. There are details that are actually given. There is, this is called the Bhu-swarga. In fact, everywhere except when we come to Bharatavarsha, you will understand that more. But we have to understand they are, even though they are in Bhu-mandala, they are actually called Bhu-swarga. It's the heavenly planetary system. To understand the context of that, normally if somebody goes to a heavenly planetary system, they'll give them a garland, which they will wear. And every day morning when they wake up, they'll see whether this garland has faded. The day when the garland has faded means that's the time they are going to fall down from heavenly planetary system. So when they fall down, Prabhupada explains, when they fall down, they then appear in one of these different islands. So they won't have such a big heartbreak, Can you imagine from Swargaloka to Australia? It's a big gap. So from Swargaloka they come to, which is Divya Swarga, it's called. So there is Divya Swarga, Bhu-swarga, Bilva Swarga, which is below. Subterranean planetary system also a lot of enjoyment. Prabhupada says in one place, actually even Devatas, sometimes they have to do bhakti. So they don't have much time for sense gratification. Other time they do sense gratification. Whereas people in the below planetary system, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, if we are thinking that's like hellish planet, you are terribly mistaken. Prabhupada says that has avenues for sense gratification even more. Because 24/7, that's all they do. So actually the subterranean planets, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala, enjoyment is more. Because they are not godly, that's why they are demoniac. And they spend all the time just enjoying. So the avenues for enjoyment is even more. So in one sense, that's why it's called the Swarga, it's called Bila Swarga. The one below.
That enjoyment is mode of ignorance.
Ignorance. Enjoyment means it's in mode of ignorance only. We can justify it, but we can see. Yesterday I was reading a purport of a Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, this is in Nectar of Devotion, I was reading. Prabhupada is saying, so if one makes a plan, if one forgets about their connection with Krishna and then they make plans for sense enjoyment and then they fall down, like that Prabhupada says. Which means any plan you make, actually Prabhupada is very precise. Prabhupada says any activity you do other than the 9 different processes of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Prabhupada says anything outside of that comes under fall down. You can read, it's right there in the introduction of Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada is saying anything other than the Navida Bhakti, Prabhupada says is fall down. Okay, so anyway, so this is the aerial view. So this is Bhu-mandala. We see in 2 side-by-side slides, and now we see the aerial view of Bhu-mandala. Okay, now we are looking up. We saw the longitudinal section. Now you are seeing the aerial view. Architect, you know this. So this is the aerial view. Again, in the middle you have Sumeru, and then you have Jambudvipa, you see. And then that is covered by that blue ring, which is saltwater ocean. Then you have Plakshadvipa, then you have Shalmali Dvipa, Kushadvipa, Krauncha Dvipa, Pushkara Dvipa, and then it keeps on going. As you can see, surrounded by different types of ocean or water. Okay? Now, why are we discussing this in brihadbhagavatamrita? As I said, what is of interest to us is what is happening in the middle, which is in Jambudvipa, the centralmost island, right, surrounding the Sumeru mountain. This is called Jambudvipa. There is a reason why each one of these islands are called by different name. So Jambudvipa has trees that has big fruits, and they look like elephant. And when they actually fall down, they form big rivers of fruit juices actually. So each one of these different island, there are names of their mountains that are there, trees that are there, what kind of activities people do, how do people look, all the information are there in 5th canto. When we study Bhagavatam summary, at that time we can go through them in detail, but for now, just understand the context here.
So Jambudvipa is the only island which isn't surrounded by oceans on both sides, because it's got also the others are surrounded by oceans on both sides.
That's right. Yeah, good.
How did you say that juice is formed?
So if there's one tree, it's not one single fruit. If unlimited fruit keeps on falling, what will happen? With that, and these trees are all many thousands of yojanas tall. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So when they fall, size of the fruit is so big. When they fall, they crush, and then, it bursts open, and then the juices come. But if it keeps on falling like this, then it forms unlimited quantity, actually, of these juices, and they go like that.
But those fruits would be for us, but for the residents in Jambudvipa, they would be different levels of layers of sense enjoyment.
Correct. And the facility for the sense enjoyment is also different. How powerful they are, how big they are, information is there in Bhagavatam.
That's on the Sumeru.
Yeah.
So when Bhagavatam is mentioning that the juices are like rivers, it's for us they're like rivers.
Even for them, it's reverse. Because the fruits are so much more bigger.
Even for the residents of Jambu.
Shalmali Dvip, it's given, there are trees. You know, size of Garuda, how big do you think size of Garuda is?
He carries Vishnu, so he must be.
That's a good logic. He carries Vishnu, so must be big. Huge.
20 miles per hour.
So big. It's given, it just goes there, lands in one of the tree and has its own house there. So you can imagine the size of those trees. Okay, so Garuda comes there to give you an idea about the size of residence. Hanumanji lives there in one of these varsha. So you will see Hanuman, how big do you think he can become? Quite big. So there should be enough fruits, enough size of fruits that can actually fulfill, his food. It's not just one single Hanuman, unlimited monkeys. How many monkeys fought on the war with Ravana? 10 to the power 65. That's how many monkeys that fought the war. So those many monkeys also live there. So okay, we'll come to that. So here, if you see, there are these different concentric circles. Each one of them, they are islands, and each one of them, they are different islands and surrounded by different oceans. Okay, so that's how we see here. Yes?
Is that 10 to the power 65?
10 to the power 65. 1 followed by 65 zeros. That's how many monkeys fought in the war. Okay, now what's of interest here is the centralmost island, which I said is Jambudvipa. Now each one of these different varshas, if you see, there are 9: Kuru Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, Ketumala, Ilavrata. Ilavrata is of interest because Lord Shiva lives there. He is the only male there. In Ilavrata Varsha, Shiva is served by Mother Parvati, who is assisted by, it's given, billions of maidservants. So in the entire Ilavrata Varsha, Shiva is the only male. Everyone else is female there. Bhadrashva Varsha, Hari Varsha, it's of interest to us because that's where Prahlad Maharaj is. Kimpurusha Varsha, again of interest to us, Hanumanji lives there. Bharata Varsha has to be of interest to us because that's where we live. So this is Bharata Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Hari Varsha. So those three are important. Now if you look at the journey of Narada Muni. Narada Muni currently is in Shivaloka. From Shivaloka he is going to go to one of the subterranean planets, Atala, Vitala, Sutala. He is going to Sutala. From Sutala, Prahlad Maharaj will divert the glorification to Hanuman. So from there he is going to come again to Bhu-mandala to Kimpurusha Varsha. That's where he will find Hanuman. Okay, the Kimpurusha, don't interrupt. So in Kimpurusha Varsha, this is where Hanuman lives. The reason why it's called Kimpurusha Varsha means when you look at the residents there in the Varsha, they look almost like humans. So that's why if somebody look at them, they'll ask Kim Purusha, which means are they humans? That's the question that comes. So that's why that Varsha is called as Kimpurusha Varsha. As I said, when Priyavrata Maharaj divided the entire Bhu-mandala into different islands, he then gave it to 7 of his different sons. The central one is taken by Agnidra, and then he in turn divided it into 9 different Varshas to give it to 9 of his descendants. So that's how it goes. Okay, so from Sutala planet, Narada Muni is going to come to Kimpurusha Varsha. From Kimpurusha Varsha, Narada Muni is then going to go to Bharata Varsha, which is a tiny planet in this big section of Bharata Varsha. And then in there, the pastime will conclude from Hastinapur to Dwaraka, and then the pastime will conclude in Dwaraka. Then he closes the loop, goes to Prayag and tells him who is the greatest devotee among all, or the one most favored. Yes?
How many planets are there in one Varsha?
How many planets are there? Many. There's no count that's there given. There are, I'm talking strictly based on Bhagavatam, how much it's there. Anything beyond, there are informations. There are Purani cosmology. books, it will cause confusion. Let's first try to understand. As I said, we are trying to understand the whole on a macrocosmic level, then one universe, then 14 planetary system, and then one planetary system in that, one Dvipa, Jambudvipa in that, and one Varsha, Bharata Varsha in that. Okay, so this is the order of our understanding when we go. Anything you go beyond this, we'll easily get distracted.
So who lives in the Hari Varsha you mentioned?
Prahlad Maharaj. You will know more about it later. Yes, so Prahlad Maharaj is not just staying in one place. They go to different places. Hanumanji doesn't stay in one place. Brahma doesn't stay in one place. If we can have one home here, one home there, can you imagine these great personalities? Bhagavatam, Puranas themselves, they give a lot of... Bhagavatam itself talks about 2 different places where Prahlad Maharaj is actually. Okay, the pastime happens and then during Vamana Dev's pastime, you will see Prahlad Maharaj also. When Vamana Dev is having his pastime with Bali Maharaj, you will see Prahlad Maharaj also in that assembly. Then Vamana Dev tells to Prahlad Maharaj, okay, this pastime is done, your grandson is going, you go there Sutala, I'll come and, we'll catch up. He tells him. Then he goes to Sutala planet. But later on you will also see, sometimes Prahlad Maharaj also goes to other places of pilgrimage. Bhagavatam itself speaks about him talking with the Python man, Sadhu who has taken Ajagara Vritti. He goes there on his parikrama as he goes to different places. There is one pastime where Prahlad Maharaj goes to see Pitavasa in Naimisharanya, the Lord wearing yellow garments. But as he goes, he actually sees someone who looks like a Brahmana, but who is wielding the weapon. Then he says, this must be a fake Kshatriya. So he makes a on the spot vow that I swear I will defeat you. Then he starts to fight with them. And then that warrior also keeps on fighting back with Prahlad Maharaj. Day finishes. Prahlad Maharaj goes to take rest. He also takes rest. Prahlad Maharaj wakes up, finishes his rounds. Next day morning, does his japa, again continue to fight. Like this, it just keeps on going on and on and on for so many days. And Prahlad Maharaj is thinking, what is happening? I'm using all astra, nothing is working against him. So one day morning, after he finishes his sadhana, he worships his Supreme Lord, and then he goes to fight. And when he says Savdan, that's when he sees the same garland he offered to the deity, that person is also wearing. Then he realizes actually that is Vishnu. And then he goes, asks for forgiveness. Then he says, Vishnu says, no, I'm very pleased with you. And then he asks him to reveal his form, and then he says, I'm Lord Pitavasa. I just want to give you a good welcome. Then Prahlad Maharaj asks him, my Lord, I already taken vow. What is the vow? I will defeat you. What will happen to that vow? Then Vishnu says, okay, don't worry, I'm always defeated by you. Like that he says. So you will see many places where Prahlad Maharaj also keeps moving. He doesn't stay in one place. In fact, if you see Parikshit Maharaj, when did Parikshit Maharaj see Kali Purush actually beating the bull and the cow? When he was actually going for one such parikrama, okay, touring his own country. That's when he comes across. So kings don't stay in one place. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is also there. So this is one understanding. The other instance that we will see in second part of brihadbhagavatamrita is Narada Muni. When Gopakumar goes to different planetary systems, he sees Narada Muni everywhere. He sees him in Vrindavan, he sees him in Vaikunta, he sees him in Ayodhya, he sees him in Dwaraka. And then he approaches him, Narada, you are everywhere. Then he says, normally only Vishnu can do this. But by mercy of Vishnu, his devotees also can expand and be simultaneously present everywhere. He says like that. So Narada Muni is also everywhere. Wherever. In fact, Narada Muni is here also. Bharata Varsha also. Okay, so this is the different varshas of Jambudvipa, which is the centralmost island. And we have Bharata Varsha here. In the center. You will get the information shortly. Stay tuned. Okay, so Mount Sumeru. So this is the centralmost mountain, Sumeru. This is again lateral view. You will see here same. You see Jambudvipa. Again, this is Bharata Varsha. Each of the Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Hari Varsha, so on and so forth. Okay, and then you can see the ocean that is surrounding it. Okay, so this is the saltwater ocean and this is Jambudvipa. And on top of Mount Sumeru, here you can see Brahmapuri, you have each of the heavenly resorts of the different principal demigods like Yamaraj, Varuna, Indra, Chandra, everyone. Okay, and then the Mother Ganga, when she actually falls there, she then takes 4 different tributaries and then she goes, falling on each one of these different mountains, and then she approaches the ocean on different sides. So again, this is more like a yantra. You can actually see what is there. This is also the aerial view. So Mount Sumeru, the golden one, that is in the center. This is Ilavarta Varsha. This one gives you more information about the different hills that you will see. Many of these hills you will come across in the Puranic stories also. Mandara mountain. So you will see each one of them. So you will see pastimes actually associated with that. Kesharachala. So whenever you study any Puranic story, when you come across any hill, come and check out this. You should find something here. Most of the times you will. This is on top of Mount Sumeru, which we saw, Brahmapuri. That's where Lord Brahma, he resides. Mother Ganga comes. Remember when Vamanadev goes scaling the top part of the universe, his big toe, it penetrates the shell of the universe through which the causal ocean water comes, and that's Mother Ganga. So she comes there. She falls in Brahmapuri. That's where Lord Brahma, there is a Brahma here. His name is Vairaja Brahma. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Mother Earth, she takes the form of the cow and approaches Brahma, this is the Brahma. She approaches here. And from here, then this Brahma leads everyone to Kshirodaka ocean. Okay, to worship to Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. So this is Lord Brahma. This is where he lives. He also lives in Satyaloka. So they can also expand. Simultaneously, he'll take rest and simultaneously he'll be there. But even when he is going on holidays, again job comes. Priority one issue. So when he comes to heavenly resort, that's when the Mother Earth, she takes the form of the cow. Along with them, she goes cries. The 10th canto, that happens here on top of that. Likewise, you will see each one of these different resorts for each of the different demigods. Now, the Mother Ganga, after she falls in Brahmapuri, she takes 4 tributaries. From that point, she is called by a different name. The one that comes to Bharatavarsha, that tributary is called Alaknanda. The one that goes to north, south, east, that's Sita. North is Bhadra, west is Chakshu. Again, these are all giving same information, but from different perspective. We saw this one, Jambudvipa. Now, this will answer your question, Shiva and Prabhu. Who is living in each one? What is happening there? So you see here, Bharatavarsha, the presiding deity is Naranarayana Rishi. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva, Narottamam. Naranarayana Rishi, they are the presiding deities of entire Bharatavarsha. Now, why I am saying entire Bharatavarsha, stay tuned, you will understand why shortly. So this whole Bharatavarsha, presiding deity is Naranarayana Rishi. They are eternally present. Even now they are present. And the key inhabitant is Narada Muni. So here Narada Muni is the chief of all the devotees. He leads the worship of Naranarayana Rishi. Likewise in Kimpurusha Varsha, Lord Ram. Now Lord Ram is he living there? Brihadbhagavatamrita says Lord Ram doesn't physically live there. He appears there from time to time. But here Hanuman, he worships the deity of Lord Ram as if he is there. Okay, and you will see the prayers, what each one of these residents, they offer, that's also given in 5th canto. You will come across that. What are the different prayers of each one of these different inhabitants, what method of worship they do, what prayers they offer, everything you will see. Harivarsha, that's where Prahlad Maharaj, he lives, worshipping Narsinghadev. Likewise, Bhadrashva, Hayashirsha, Hayagriva is there. Ketumala, Rishikesha is there, Lakshmiji is worshipping. Ilavarta Varsha, again Lord Shiva is the only male, he is worshipping Shankarshana. In Ramyaka Varsha, Matsya, he is being worshipped by Manu. Kurma is worshipped in Hiranmaya Varsha by Aryama. Aryama is one of the chief of the Pitraloka, forefathers. Then Varahadev is worshipped in Kuru Varsha, worshipped by Bhumi Devi, which is Mother Earth. Okay, so this is the presiding deities of Jambudvipa. So this is, again, as I said, the centralmost island. This is Jambudvipa. Sumeru is somewhere there coming up. And then each one of these different Varsha, there are the presiding deities of each one of the different Varsha. And there are the chief devotees who are leading the worship. So here you see Hanuman, Shugriv, they're also there. Some of these information about the extent of this Bhu-mandala, how far you can go, everything, they are coming from Ramayana as well. Mahabharata also gives a lot of information. Okay, like for example, some of these places when Hanumanji goes in search of Mother Sita, at that time Shugriva gives him information. So then Shugriva gives Hanumanji, go here till this far. After that point, going is useless. Then Hanumanji says, you have traversed all this? He said, yes. He says, when did you go? He says, like, when I was fearing for my life from Bali, I was running everywhere, one place to the other. And finally, I came to know he got a curse from Matanga Rishi. Because once Vali kills one demon, and Matanga Rishi is doing tapasya, Vali, after killing the demon, he just throws the dead body. And the blood from that dead body splatters in the Yagyakunda area, thereby offending Matanga Rishi. So Matanga Rishi gives a curse to Vali, if you come within, I think, 4-mile radius in that area, then you will die. So Vali doesn't come there, so Sugriv always goes there and hides. So Sugriv also gives information. So you will come across, likewise in Mahabharata also there is information. So what Prabhu has done, Pavaneshwar Prabhu has done is he has taken references from each one of them. He has taken from Sri Vaishnava Acharyas also. They have also done Madhava Acharyas, Madhava Sampradaya Acharyas. They have also done a lot of research in that. He has compiled all of that. That's what you will see. All these missing pieces you will see in that book, Bhagavata Cosmology. Okay, so this is the presiding deities of Jambudvipa. Again, Bharatavarsha. Now this is of interest to us. Why? This is Jambudvipa again. Sumeru is here. Ilavarta Varsha is here. Then you have Bharata Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Hari Varsha. Now why is divisions in Bharata Varsha? If you look at the Sankalpa mantra, when we do Homa, we say Bharata Varshe, Bharata Kande. What is Kanda? Okay, so this is Jambudvipa. That's Ilavarta Varsha, Hari Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha. This is Bharata Varsha. This one is Kimpurusha. This is Hari Varsha. This is Ilavarta Varsha, where Lord Shiva lives, so on and so forth. Now, what's of interest for us here is Bharata Varsha. So, this Bharata Varsha, I'm going to just enlarge it. Okay, just this part alone. This Bharata Varsha in turn is divided into 9 different parts. Like that. Each one of these part, they are called Kanda. This whole thing in its entirety, it's Bharata Varsha. This Bharata Varsha has 9 Kandas. So you number it from 1, 2, 3 like that. This 9th Kanda, this is called Bharata Kanda. And the other 8 Kandas, they are called by different names. This Bharata Kanda is where our planet Earth is. So our planet Earth is somewhere there, right at the tip. This Bharata Kanda is also called as Sudarshana Dvipa in some places. It's also Sudarshana. Darshana means darshan. You see, Sudarshana means something which is very pleasing. Okay, like Super Darshana. So Sudarshana Dvipa it's called. Kumaraka Dvipa also it's called in some places, Kumarakanda. Okay, in Tamil literatures also you will come across the term Kumarakanda. So that's Bharatakanda. Okay, so these 9 divisions are called Kanda. So if you look at this slide, that's what it's depicted here. There are 9 divisions inside Bharatavarsha. 9th division at the tip, that's where our planet Earth is. So that is Bharatakanda. So in Sankalpa Mantra during Homa, we say Bharatavarshe. So that's the location we are telling to the demigods. Bharatavarshe, Bharatakande, specific. Meroho, Dakshine, south of Meru. That's what it means. Okay, and then it goes, each one. Okay, what day of the night, what paksha you do, what month, what day of the month, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is Bharatavarsha, so we live right there. So even in Bharatavarsha, there is 8 more other divisions, 8 more other kandas. So Kimpurusha Varsha is after all of that. Hari Varsha is even beyond. Ilavarta Varsha is even beyond. Okay, what we see as Himalayas in our planet is just a tiny prototype. It's not even the Sadashiv Loka's Himalaya. There is another Himalaya. You see, after the 9th division, there is one Himalaya. This is also Himalaya. So if you look at the, can you see that? That hill? See there, Mount Himalaya. That Himalaya is not visible for us. This Himalaya reference to this, have you come across this pastime when one day Mother Draupadi, she sees this 1000-petaled lotus and she says to Bhima, I would like to get this one for my puja of my friend Krishna. Then Bhima goes. Bhima goes, and then he sees who? One monkey. See Kimpurusha Varsha, that pastime happened in the higher realm of Himalaya. That Himalaya, not our Himalaya, what we see in our planet Earth.
But how can they switch planets?
Fantastic. Vayuputras can actually fly anywhere. Both Bhima as well as Hanuman. Okay, you see here again, context, Bharatavarsha is here, Meru, 9th division. Can you see the different divisions there? 9th division is planet Earth. In that, we are living tiny there, Australia, not Sydney. This is where we live. So, this is the whole Jambudvipa, Sumeru, Ilavarta Varsha, Hari Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Bharata Varsha, has got 9 different kandas. 9th kanda is Bharata Kanda. We live there. Again, this will give you even more clarity there. India is that tiny part. Again, 9th division. This is just Bharata Varsha divided. That's Bharata Kanda, the last part. They have just made it vertical like that. This is how Bharata Varsha, 9th. It is actually resting on top of like a peg. You will see it like a golf peg. Beyond the scope of today's discussion, I'm just want to. Now, this is whatever we saw so far. Will give you some context about Bhu-mandala. What is happening on this plane, the breadth. Okay, now we'll quickly skim through the height. In next 5 minutes, we'll finish this and then I'll ask for questions. Okay, so this is celestial planets. You see Bhu-mandala here. Now, Bhu-mandala is not a flat, plain surface like this. This is tapering. So, in the middle you see Mount Sumeru. As you go away, so Jambudvipa is on a more higher plane. Plakshadvipa goes a bit more low because it goes tapering like this, Bhu-mandala. Bhu-mandala is not like one single flat surface like that. It goes like this, tapering. So, you have Mount Sumeru, you have Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmali Dvipa. As you go further and further, it goes like down, like that. And then you have, so this is Bhu-mandala, we have Sun God. He then goes around keeping Mount Sumeru as his axle. He's actually holding here another one, keeps it to the focal point there, and then he goes around Mount Meru, causing day and nights here. Then this is Sun. Sun is closer to Earth than Moon, according to Vedic cosmology. Sun is closer, then you have Moon. Again, you have to see whether it's a horizontal distance or vertical distance. We'll keep it simple for today's discussion. Then you have Moon. Above that, you see the 27 nakshatras or the constellation. And then you see Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Saptarishi, and then Dhruvaloka. Above Dhruvaloka, you have Maharjanas, Tapas, Satya. In this realm, you have Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka.
Why is there sun top?
It's not sun, it is Dhruvaloka. It's bright. Sun is here. This is sun planet. See, you are asking the question. Yeah, just to grab your attention, they have put it like that. It's Dhruva Loka because that's the focal point. Prabhupada always uses chandelier. You look at chandelier above Prabhupada there. So it has a focal point there. And then if you rotate the chandelier will go around. Okay, all the different glass elements of that will go around like this, right? Same way, Prabhupada says this is also a chandelier where the top portion is Dhruva. All the heavenly planetary systems, they go around like this, keeping this as the focal point. They circumambulate. Why? Because Lord Vishnu lives there. Understand? Prishnigarbha, he lives there. Okay, so this is again, Bhagavatam 5th canto talks about the distance between, at what height you see here, 100,000 yojanas. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So you calculate it accordingly. Again, this is planetary system, so that is Dhruva. So this is a different view again. And you see each of these different planets, they are at different height, different plane, different length also. So different, like if you take one glass particle in that and the other one, another element, you can see, the height difference is there, how close one is versus the other, how far away it is, what plane it is, each one. So you see all of that. Now you see this inverted dolphin. This is called Shishumara. Just like, have you seen constellation in the sky? Sagittarius, Libra. Sagittarius you can easily see in the sky. You can connect the dots and you can see the shape. Likewise, if you connect the planetary systems, the sages who are sitting in meditation, they will actually see this form, wherein the body of this particular Shishumara, also called as dolphin. So when you connect all these different planets, you will see a dolphin, inverted dolphin. So the sages, they are advised to meditate on this. Whoever who worships Paramatma, they will sit and meditate on this, and this is spiritual form actually. If they sit, meditate, they will also make spiritual progress. So this is called Shishumara planetary system. And you will see this particular image is actually showing the different parts of Shishumara planet. So Shishumara planet, at the tip of his nose is like Yamaraj, and then Rahu, Ashwini Kumara, each one of them, who are all in each of the different bodies. When it's mentioned Rahu, Ashwini Kumara's sun, they are the different planetary systems. So sages, when they go deep in the meditation, they will be able to see this form in their heart, but this form is actually made of these. If you consider all these different planets as a constellation, they form this shape, which they sit and meditate. Okay, Bhagavatam speaks about this. So this information is there in Bhagavatam. Okay, this is cross section of the universe. You take the whole universe, cut it into half. One half you see Garbhodaka ocean. Now what's of interest here is this is Bhu-mandala. What you see, Bhu-mandala is there at the top. Okay, that's where the island is, at the top of the surface. I'll come to the thickness shortly. You see the Sumeru here. You have Loka mountain on both the sides. So the sun is here. Sun's rays doesn't go to every part of the universe. Sun's rays are confined to within a certain region only. From Bhu-mandala, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, Satya. Only these can see the sun. The sun's rays are then blocked from going away by each of these different means. On the side, it doesn't even go hit the wall of the universe. It's actually blocked by a series of circular mountains. They are called Loka mountain. Okay, it's like you have a torchlight here and you cup your fingers around that. You block it at the side. So this is Loka mountain. And if I place a torchlight, let's say the source of light is somewhere there, I block it here at the side, it can't go at the side. Bottom also it can't go because the table will block if I place it there. Does that make sense? So Bhu-mandala blocks it. Subterranean planets, none of them have sun. They have celestial serpents and they have jewelry on their head which emit light. That's the source of light in subterranean planetary system. Sun doesn't go down. Sun only goes up. So that's why this part is open. Side is closed by Loka mountain, and below it's Bhu-mandala is actually blocking there. Yes.
There should be sun in every planet.
Every universe there is one sun.
Only one. So, okay. Whatever is on top will have only one sun.
Whatever sun that we see here, the same light will actually go everywhere. This sun, that light will go everywhere because sun is like it emits light 365 degrees. You just block wherever you want to, other places it just goes.
So Brahma shares the same sun?
Yeah, there's only one sun.
And why is he traveling?
We can ask him. Traveling preaches. Why is Narada Muni traveling?
No, but there's always a mention of the sun moving.
Sun is moving, yes.
Why is it
Beyond the scope of today, as I said. I just want to give an overview of where everything is located. As I said, I'm not coming to movement. We'll discuss it later. Okay, so here, again, same cross section, Lokalaka mountain is blocking here. Now, what is happening here is, when we say subterranean planets, they are, so the way how you understand this is, you take like a plane, not a thin plane, but a thick plane. Understand? Thick plane means, this is a good one. Okay, this is Bhu-mandala on the top. But then imagine if this is transparent, I can actually carve through this surface and I can create one layer in each one. 7 planetary systems are within the earth. That's why they are called subterranean planet, like subway. Okay, so below 7 planetary systems, they are within the earth, thick earth. It's not one thin surface. It's thick. So thick, hundreds of thousands of yojanas thick. And each one of them, they are like underground city only. Like people have underground, what do they call that? Like secret passage? Subway. Like that, there's like layers and layers and layers, 7 layers, one below the other, below the other, below the other. So each one of them, no, you lost the context already. Earth is different. Remember, Bhu-mandala I'm saying. Okay, so you penetrate through this and then you will come across each one of those 7 different planetary systems within the thick surface of this earth. So that's why they are called subterranean planets. So here if you see, this is the thick layer. In this thickness, where you see like in a thick brown block there, all the 7 planetary systems are inside that. I'll show you one more slide, it will make things a bit more clear. Earth is on Bhu-mandala. So Earth is on this surface. See, Earth is there, one small tiny part. Remember this? This is that brown circle. So Earth is there on that surface.
You're referring to Bhu-mandala.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, this earth you're referring to Bhu-mandala.
Yes. So here, if you see this thickness, there is this thick layer. Your 7 planetary systems is inside that thick layer, and that in turn is supported by Diggajas, the elephants. Bhagavatam says the earthquake that we actually face in this planet is when, sometimes you keep carrying a load, you feel a little itchy, you move, right? So when the Diggajas, they move, that's when earthquake happens. So it's given like that. And then they are in turn supported by Sesha. Sesha in turn is supported by Kurma. Kurma also, there are different varieties of Kurma. This is Vayu Kurma, more subtle form of Kurma. So he supports in turn. So this is how the whole 14 planetary system is supported. This will give you more information here. You see this? Earth is there. Where we live, it's there. That round globe you see. This is on top of Bhu-mandala. Bhu-mandala onwards, this thick crust of earth starts below. So this earth, you see the cross section of Bhu-mandala. So Bhu-mandala, above us, we think of planetary system, one above the other. Below, when we talk, it's not one below the other, same as the above. It's not like that. There is 6 above us. From 7th planetary system down to 14, it's just everything is condensed within one thick earth crust. And on the surface is Bhu-mandala. That's where we live. That's why we are still blessed with the sunlight. But the 7 below us, that is under the earth, this thick crust of earth, they don't get the light. Okay, so Atala planet is this, Vitala, Sutala. So if you see descent of Mother Ganga, you will come across Sagar Maharaj, Dilip, Anshuman, and you will see they have dug, and finally Bhagirath, when he comes, they dug the earth. This is the earth which they actually dug and they went down. And it's given when they dug down, they went to subterranean planetary system and there they actually found, Kapila sitting there in meditation and everything. So you will see that. Bhagavatam, Ramayana also has references here. Ramayana also, when they were searching for Mother Sita, Sugriva also guides them to actually do that. So you will find many references where even this earth is dug. Okay, by different personalities here. So Atala, you will see that, so the Mount Sumeru, it's totally 100,000 yojanas, 84,000 yojanas is above, 16,000 yojanas is like the foundation. That's steeped inside this crust. Okay, 16,000 yojanas means 16,000 times 8 miles. That's how thick the foundation is. Then below that, there is 10,000 yojanas thick is where Atala planet is. Then there is a gap, there is a thick border of 500 yojanas, which is a no man's land, like a line of control between Atala and Vitala. So that is 500 there. Then you have Vitala, again 10,000 yojanas thick, and then there is another 500 gap between Vitala and Sutala. Like that it goes, one below the other. Now below that, you actually see the hellish planets are even below Patala. Hellish planet doesn't come under Patala Loka. So hellish planets is not listed under 14 planetary system, it's even below. Okay, so that is hellish planet, that's there. Given 28 hellish planets, which Bhagavatam speaks about. May be familiar to most of us, from previous lives. So here, this gives information about who are the different personalities in different planetary system. Atala, it's ruled by demon Bala. He is the son of Maya Danava. You come across this demon Maya Danava. His son is ruling in Atala. Vitala, Lord Shiva is living. Lord Shiva, just like Brahma, he is also in many places. Sutala planet is where Bali Maharaj is. Prahlad Maharaj also you will find sometime. Talatala, ruled by Maya. Again, Maya Danava, the king of Danavas. Mahatala, this is where Takshaka, remember Takshaka? One who beat Parishit Maharaj. So, he lives. Rasatala, abode of the Panis, descendants of Diti and Danu, Nivata Kavachas, Kalayas. Nivata Kavachas, you will come across in Mahabharat, where Arjuna single-handedly, he defeats them. Just single-handedly he goes and he defeats the entire army of Nivata Kavachas, you will come across. And then Patala or Nakaloka is where residents of Nagas headed by Vasuki. Remember Samudramanthan Leela, Vasuki, he lives there, he is the king of them. And these are the different hellish planets. Tamishra, Andatamishra, Raurava, Maharourava, all of that. What punishment is given there? Who is qualified to go there? All those information is there in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone interested, you are welcome to read that section. And that's the subterranean planet. You will see Pitraloka. And we have come back to where we started. So this is the Loka. So when you see this structure now, you will have some understanding. This Bhu-mandala, you have Saptadvipa, Mount Sumeru. Each of these, unlike how this diagram depicts, they are not just like they are like independent planetary systems like that. It's not like that. They are all under this thick crust only, one below the other. And the surface top of that is Bhu-mandala, and right below each one of that is those different planetary systems. There is one slide I skipped, fearing losing the context. So that's this one. So you have Maharjanas, Tapas, Satya. Satyaloka is where Lord Brahma resides. Tapaloka, it's the abode of great sages and rishis. The 4 Kumaras, they live there. Janaloka, Bhrigumuni, along with the other sages. And Maharloka, abode of the great sages, Siddhas and rishis. They are in large numbers. That's it. Thank you. Any questions?
So when you said like the great sages and 4 Kumaras live there, right? So are they still not liberated?
They are liberated. Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibhyati swarga apavarka narakeshu apitulyartha darshinaha. I'll answer your same question. I'll answer your question with a question. Why is Narada Muni living here? Is Narada Muni liberated? Why is Shiva living here? Why is Hanuman living here? Same question should have come everywhere. They are there to assist other people, basically, in their progress of Krishna consciousness. That's all.
So they can still travel between.
Already we saw, like, even Narada Muni, he went from there to there, there to there, there to Satyaloka, Satyaloka to Shivaloka, Shivaloka again back to Sutaloka, Sutaloka again to Kimpurusha Varsha. From Kimpurusha Varsha, he'll come to Bharata Varsha. In Bharata Varsha, he'll go to first Hastinapur, then Dwaraka, then again Prayag.
So anybody who performs that yogic process can go to Tapaloka and still can travel.
Yeah.
They can come down.
Pure devotees don't go there, actually. All Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, Yoga Mishra Bhaktas, they go. So in Parishit Maharaj's question to Shukadeva Goswami, some questions he asks not for him, he asks for people who are assembled there. So you will come across those personalities. So whenever there is Harikatha, they will still come there. They are still devotees, but not pure devotees yet. Prabhuji, just one second.
Can we see all
We can't see. What to speak of? Good question. How much of this is allowed for us? We can't go from even one khanda to another khanda. Forget about going to higher planetary system. We can't even go from one khanda to another. You will see many instances, even in Puranic stories. Some places, somebody would actually enter in, they'll get arrested immediately. Like, for example, Nanda Baba, why did Varunadev arrest him? Same reason. He thinks, some ordinary human being, he's entering into our territory, arrest him. Immediately they arrest and they bring. Okay, and water is right here. Even here we are not allowed to go in. You go at untime, the time when you are not supposed to go, especially like in dark, we will get arrested. Even by Varunadev's servants here. What to speak of going there? We can't see, we can't go. We can't even go to from one khanda to the other. Forget about one khanda to the other. During COVID, you can't even go from one region to another region in Sydney. We couldn't go from one state to another state. Even now, you can't go from one country to another country without visa, without proper qualification. So, whoever has qualification, they can go. Narada Muni, he has the qualification, he has the license to go anywhere. We can't go. So, if you read Ramayana actually gives, even in the aerial route, if you see, there are different aerial routes. You will come across Shiva going through aerial route, Indra going through aerial route. They have their own dedicated track. They don't go barging into each one of their territories. Of course, Shiva is more independent, but Indra means he can fly Airavat only in a certain track. He can't change lane. So, at a certain height only he can go. Yes?
But they'll have that clarity in the vision that they're traversing, right? Like
Who?
modern science has gone to Mars until then, but for
Prabhupada says what they call as previous, we can discuss it at some other time beyond the scope of this, but Prabhupada said whatever they call as moon landing, he said they must have landed in either Rahu or Ketu. Okay, so even this level of clarity is not there in modern understanding yet. We are talking Bharata Varsha, Bharata Kanda.
But they say they're going to Mars and all that.
It's anyone can say anything. So there are areas where we can easily reconcile, which with what Vedic cosmology and modern science says. There are areas which are totally beyond even the understanding, conception of modern minds. So this is the only source of truth so far. Okay, eventually they'll come to understand about Vedic cosmology. Prabhupada, when he said about TOVP, that's what Prabhupada says. I want to show the information that we have. Whether they accept or not, that's their problem. Prabhupada says like that. But we need to illustrate it clearly. Like as I said, when I started reading Vedic cosmology 10, 12 years ago, it was confusing. But then Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, Pavaneshwar Prabhu, they put a lot of effort and now we have a bit more understanding, at least visually. Likewise, when modern people, scientists, when they actually see, these illustrations or even in the chandelier, Prabhupada said, in a 3D model, they'll develop a bit more understanding. Then eventually, at some point of time, they may do or they may not be able to do. Prabhupada says that's their problem. But definitely just because even if somebody manages to see, doesn't mean one is qualified to go and see. We can see the moon, but we are not qualified to go and see the moon. Yesterday, India launched a Chandrayaan 3 to go to moon. It's an unmanned rover. They are actually sending it. US sent Artemis, I think early this year. I think it's almost a 100-meter tall rocket. Unmanned, it's not landing in the moon. Their understanding is it will circle around the moon and it will send information. So you can see something maybe from far, but how much are we qualified to go there and live? Shastra say we simply can't.
So what they call it as Mars is still in Bhu-mandala only?
No, that's what you see here. No, it comes under Swarga Loka, Swarga.
Okay, so they technically...
So you see here, this is Mars.
Yes, on the celestial planets you showed us like...
Correct, see, that is Mars. Okay, so that comes under Swarga, all of that.
So they have access until their, let's say, claim.
I'm saying I'm staying away from that, it's beyond the scope. I can't give a short answer there. Okay, any other question? Mataji.
When we speak about the Bhu-loka, the earth, the Bharat Khanda,
Bhu-loka or Bhu-mandala?
Bhu-mandala.
Bhu-mandala, Bharata Kanda, yes.
So, is our Bharat Varsha, we comparing it to Bharat Khanda, and the earth as a planet, we are comparing to Bhu-loka.
Okay, I'll draw and show so it will get a bit more clear. Wait. Let me finish one question. You keep interrupting others' question. Okay, Mataji. So you see here, this is Bhu-mandala, okay? Meru is here, okay? And then you have the different dvipa, 7 dvipas here. What is of interest to us is the central dvipa, which is, so I am taking this central dvipa, this is called the Jambudvipa. And that Jambudvipa's aerial view is this. Okay, I am seeing from like Mount Meru. So here, each one of these, they are different varshas. This is Bharata Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha, Hari Varsha, so on and so forth. So this whole Varsha is called Bharata Varsha. This Bharata Varsha in turn has 9 different divisions. They are called Khandas. What we call planet Earth is the 9th Khanda or Bharata Khanda. Bharata Khanda is the Earth. Okay, so this is Bharata Khanda, not Bharata Varsha. Okay, so Bharata Khanda is there, and this Bharata Khanda is what we call as Earth or Bhuloka. Yes.
When Shastra talks about Bharata Varsha, like Bhagavatamrta, that one, does that refer to the whole section or the Khanda only?
What do you think?
I mean, you could say that anyone.
Prabhupada says we have to preach, deliver the whole universe. So bigger the better. Bharata Varsha. Bhagavatam itself has a chapter called The Glories of Bharata Varsha. I once wanted to give a seminar on that. I can't still fit the time for that. There is, of all these different Varshas, Bharata Varsha is considered to be more conducive for practicing Krishna consciousness, because the other Varshas, they are either liberated already or they are already in heavenly pleasures. Bharata Varsha. The glories of residents of Bharata Varsha, not just Bharata Khanda. It's not, when it says Bharata Bhumite Hoila Manusya Janmayar, it's not just Bharata Khanda, whole Bharata Varsha. So it is given, even residents of the other Varshas, other Dvipas also, they crave to be born in Bharata Varsha. Why? Because from here, normally you remember when they go to Swargaloka, they then come to one of the Bhuswarga, one of the Dvipas or one of the other Varshas they come. But once somebody comes to Bharata Varsha, from here, they have direct entry to go to Goloka Vrindavan. Because every other place, you can only use up your karma, use up your punya. This is where you can top up in your mobile phone credit. You can use up everywhere, you will fall down. Here if you come, you top up. But if you really top up nicely, you can go to Goloka Vrindavan straight away from here. So that's why the whole Bharata Varsha is glorified. There is a whole chapter called The Glories of Bharata Varsha. We can discuss sometime. When you read that, you will understand, oh, this is where I am. Because things come very easily, we take it for granted, but Bhagavatam glorifies our position. Why we are in the most conducive state, and it also talks about the prayers of even demigods, why they stand in queue to actually appear in Bharata Khanda, as well as Bharata Varsha. Bhaktichar Maharaj gives a beautiful analogy. He says, let's say this is a skyscraper, okay? This is above the ground. And you have basements also below the ground. If there is a fire happening anywhere, what is the best place to be in? You are in the building. I'm asking inside the building. So he says, this is Bhu-mandala. Whether you are below or above, you are much better if you are here. So you can easily come out. So Maharaj uses this beautiful analogy to say how being born in Bharata Varsha is the best place to be, so we can get liberated straight away, come out of this building, which means this whole universe, and you get liberated that way. Okay, final question.
Not just on Earth, but on Mars or Venus or anywhere also we can come out of it.
We can come out, but the opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness is very bleak. You come across the story of Nirga in 10th canto. After he gets liberated, first Krishna touches him, he comes out in his demigod form and he boasts also to Krishna, I was known for doing so much yajna. Even you might have heard about me. He tells to Krishna. Krishna says like, yep. So, and then finally he says, thank you very much. He could have asked Krishna, just take me to Goloka. Krishna would have taken. But he says, thank you, and he goes. Krishna is like, he just looks at him, what can you do? Same instance, if you see Krishna liberating Manigriva and Nalakuvera, they come circumambulate, glorify Krishna, and they pray to Krishna. Krishna, please take us back to Godhead. Krishna says, don't worry, go back to your place. I give you immunity from Maya. You will practice pure devotional service. From there you will go. Muchukunda, same benediction Krishna gives. You will see Gajendra, classical example. There is Gajendra and there is crocodile. Gajendra was King Indradumna, not to be confused with the Indradumna Maharaj of Puri. This Indradumna is different, a South Indian king. In Dravida Desh is given Tamil Nadu. He is cursed by Agastya. So Indradumna, he becomes Gajendra. And he is offering prayers, and finally he is offering the lotus. He comes, Bhagavatam says when Vishnu comes, that particular form, what's the name of the form of Vishnu who liberated or who appeared in front of Dhruva Maharaj? What's the name of Vishnu who appeared in front of Gajendra? Hari. Okay, so he comes, he pulls both the elephant and the crocodile out of the water. That's the first thing he does. He pulls elephant out from his position of weakness to position of strength, which is land. After he pulls both of them out, he then releases Sudarshana Chakra, severing the head of crocodile. And crocodile in the previous life was a Gandharva by name Huhu. So crocodile comes out, thanks Krishna, and then goes. Gajendra in his prayers, he had actually offered already to Krishna, I don't want to be saved from this position, just take me back. If you read Gajendra's prayers, you will see. So Krishna liberates him, and then Gajendra goes to Vaikuntha. Animal body only, two animals fighting in the same thing. Even crocodile could have asked him straight away. But he goes back to, he assumes the position of a king of Gandharvas and he goes to Gandharva Loka only. Okay, option is there, but the impetus to practice bhakti is not there. Okay, just like Prabhupada says, when we are put in difficulty, chances are more that we will be more surrendered. Have you come across the day before the exam, we suddenly become very devoted. Day before interview, even more. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Shri Gaura Nitai ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam ki Jai, His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu ki Jai, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.